Today, as Americans come to terms with the sudden destruction of the East Wing of the White House, attention is turning to the donors behind building the next phase, that $300 million ballroom that lawmakers and ethics experts are questioning what's behind the donations of more than 36 individuals and businesses, including tech companies Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Meta, defense contractors Booz Allen Hamilton, Lockheed Martin, and Palantir, and telecom companies T-Mobile and Comcast, the parent company of NBC Universal, answering Donald Trump's call for cash. Joining me now, Noah Bookbinder, president of Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics. So welcome, Noah. Donald Trump said funding the ballroom with donations saves taxpayers money. True. So what's the problem here?
Well, the issue here is that this is a program that is clearly, it's a project that clearly is a lot of importance to the president. He's talked about it a lot. He held a whole news event on the roof of the White House to talk about how great this was. And when you have companies and individuals giving vast quantities of money to something that is important to the president, to his pet project, you worry about what they're expecting to get in return. And this is a president who has repeatedly made decisions favorable to those who have given money to things that he finds important, and there's a real concern that that's going to happen again. And instead of making decisions that are good for the American people, he's going to make decisions that help out those companies that put all this money into something he values.
So Democrats are demanding answers. Lawmakers have sent letters to the National Park Service and the Trust for the National Mall. The 37 donors and Donald Trump himself all asking if the donors were promised anything in exchange for their gifts. Do you expect this to be a fruitful fact-finding mission? I mean, why isn't there a requirement for clear reporting on these donations?
They seem to be exploiting a bit of a loophole here where the donations are going to a nonprofit that then in turn is paying for this project. And because nonprofits don't have to disclose their donors, nobody has to say whether they're giving and how much. And even the information the administration has given seems to be incomplete. There's been reporting about other major companies that have given and haven't been reported. And that's a problem here, too, because we need to understand who is trying to influence the president, what they may be trying to get. And we just don't have the information to really evaluate that the way that voters and regular people should be able to do.
And look, your concerns are because many of these donors, they already have business before the government. Some are looking at future acquisitions, or they're interested in getting federal contracts. Do any, Noah, of these donations specifically raise red flags to you?
Many of them do. So you have companies like Comcast, which specifically has a merger that the federal government needs to approve. So that's something that they're looking for from the administration. You've got companies like Amazon and Lockheed Martin that have massive amounts in government contracts. They want those contracts to keep coming. You've got companies like Google that was targeted by the president with a lawsuit because he claimed that YouTube was being unfair to him. They probably want the administration to leave them alone. So you've got a lot of these companies that have very specific things they want from the administration, and they seem to be getting the signal that if they put up enough money for something the president values, maybe they'll get what they want from the federal government. That's not a thing that regular people can do. And so that's a real problem where you start to have government for corporations and billionaires as opposed to government for Americans.
Might you also add potential fear of retribution being part of the calculations for companies deciding whether to invest in this ballroom?
Absolutely. There certainly could be a sense from these companies that unless they give, they could be targeted. They could lose a ton of business. They could have decisions made that are harmful to them. They could even be targeted legally. And we don't want that either. We don't want companies feeling like they have to give to the president's pet causes or else they're going to face consequences. Decisions that affect companies, just like decisions on all things, ought to be made based on what's in all of our interest, not based on who gave millions of dollars to something that the president is focused on.
But in fairness, look, Donald Trump entered the White House as a businessman. Is this just an example of him transferring his deal-making experience to government?
Well, look, that's certainly how Donald Trump would present this, and they are correct in saying that, assuming you agree that this project is worth doing, this is a way of saving money for taxpayers. But the cost of that is that the president's decision making on anything from the environment to taxes to trade policy, things that affect regular people's health and safety and how much things cost in the grocery store, all of that may be being affected by who's giving money to this ballroom that nobody outside of the White House asked for. And that's really dangerous. And I think the effects of that go well beyond whatever taxpayers may be saving based on corporations and wealthy people giving this money.
Okay, appreciate all your insights. Noah Bookbinder, thank you so much.